In the world of heavy-duty trucks, Chevrolet is looking to bring the heat to Ford and Ram. I'm at the 2022 LA Auto Show, and this big beast right here is the refreshed 2024 Silverado HD. Let's take a first look. So before we start talking about the exterior styling changes that Chevy has made for 2024, I want to remind you guys what's underneath the hood, because the previous pre-refreshed Silverado HD had some of the best powertrains that you could find in the segment. You still get your choice of two different engines. They're actually both 6.6 liters in displacement. They're both V8 engines. The gas model is unchanged. You get 401 horsepower and 464 pound-feet of torque. The big difference for 2024 is they've replaced the old 6-speed auto with the 10-speed Allison transmission, which is the same transmission that you get in the diesel engine. Now, most heavy-duty truck buyers are going to choose the 6.6-liter Duramax turbo diesel V8, and the power output figures this year have gone way up. You get a total of 470 horsepower and up to 975 pound-feet of torque. That's like an increase of 65 more pound-feet of torque over the pre-refreshed version, and it makes the Silverado HD a lot more competitive with its main rivals from Ford and from Ram. Like I said earlier, this continues to use the 10-speed Allison-built transmission, which again is going to help this engine get the best fuel economy and the best performance when you're towing those heavy loads. This model here will tow in particular up to 18,700 pounds because this one here is limited to being the spec that it is. Some of the models with this powertrain in the 2500 will tow a maximum of 22,500 pounds. If you guys go for a 3500 or dually, those will tow up to 36,000 pounds. Now, those numbers are technically lower versus what you're going to get from the best from Ford Super Duty, but again, this is going to be plenty of towing capability for most of you who are in the market for this type of truck. But let's go ahead and close up the hood and talk about the exterior styling, because the Silverado, for me, when this generation first came out, I wasn't kind of the biggest fan of the look. It looked a little bit odd, especially in certain trims. However, as you can see, just like on the 1500, Chevrolet has really made this new truck a lot more upscale looking. It looks a lot less bulbous and in your face. I really like the Midnight Edition package that this one has. This is the fully loaded High Country model, which, as you guys know, is kind of Chevrolet's version to a GMC Denali. You can see with the Midnight Edition, you get kind of more of the black chrome accents. You have the black Chevrolet bow tie. You have this functional air hood scoop over here that allows air to get into that diesel engine. And then most models will have full LED headlights. This model here, being the High Country, has these projector style LEDs that also display animations in the actual turn signals. You have sequential turn signals, and it definitely gives this truck a lot more of a premium, a lot more modern vibe. You can see there is still some chrome on this vehicle. The High Country has always had chrome. You have these chrome meaty tow hooks. You have these well-integrated parking sensors. And overall, let me know what you think about the styling of the Silverado HD in the comment section below. I'll be showing you guys a video on the Sierra HD as well, but I think Chevy has done a great job in making this vehicle look a little bit less in your face versus the pre-refreshed models. Now, looking at the side profile, you can see this is a big truck. I mean, I'm 5'7", and I wouldn't want to get hit by one of these vehicles. They're huge. They're available essentially in a super cab and a crew cab configuration. You can take your pick between either a 6.75 foot long bed or an 8-foot bed. So that's one of the reasons why you go to this. If you need the 8-foot bed and the crew cab body style, you need to buy an HD truck. You can see this Midnight Edition in the High Country also has black badging here for the High Country. You have these beautiful looking 20-inch black wheels. I'm sorry, these are a 22-inch wheel. These are an optional wheel, but a 20s will be standard. They're wrapped in 265/60 R22 Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tires. They definitely look great. They fill out the wheel wells very nicely. You also get more black badging along the side. You get these black running boards over here, which are power actuated, so you can they can go into the side of the vehicle, out of the way, if you guys are planning to take this vehicle off-road. And then looking at the side profile here, you can see this is the 6.75 foot long bed. Still very usable, but again, you can go for a longer bed if you guys prefer to have an 8-foot bed. Now, looking at the rear, you can see the tail lights have been mildly redone here. And I like what they've done here. It's kind of an LED incandescent combination to me. I like the way that the LED light signature looks when the vehicle is turned on. You have a lot more black badging over here, which looks good in this black exterior, although I would love to see this truck also painted in white with the Midnight Edition. And then looking at the bed, you can see it has a power opening bed, which is definitely nice. And then this model here also has the spray and bed liner. Again, trying to get back here for somebody my height is pretty bad. I don't have payload capacity figures just yet, but these types of trucks can easily do over 2,000 pounds in the bed. So I imagine this will be right around that figure. But overall, as you can see, it's a pretty mild refresh, but I also think it's a very effective one because the truck just looks a lot better. So moving on to the interior of this massive truck, you can see getting inside, there is a grab handle here along with the running board to help you get into the vehicle. But once you get in and shut the door, Unlike the pre-refresh model, you're going to notice the massive upgrades that Chevy has made to this interior. If you've seen my review on the 1500 Silverado, you can see the interior has basically just been grafted onto the inside of the HD version. You have a huge upgrade in the infotainment displays here. You have a full digital 12.3-inch instrument cluster that sits right in front of you. It's a fully digital display that is slightly customizable. And then off to the center, in the center display, you have their new 13.4-inch touchscreen here. This runs off of the Google Android operating system. It includes things like wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It has over-the-air updates. This is among the best in the business that I've used, and it's essentially what this truck should have had when it first came out a couple years ago. The old truck had like an 8-inch display that literally looked like a 5-inch display in an interior that's this big. And then this high country model really takes the luxury up to the next level. I mean, if you guys like GMC Denali, you need to also check out high country, because you get features here like real leather along the door panels, along the dash. You have real genuine wood trim. You can see this is a soft touch material. You have 2-person memory seats. You have automatic up-down window controls with these relatively high quality feeling window switches. And then the seats themselves are like a 10-way power adjustment. They are heated and ventilated, and the leather also feels relatively soft. I also like the contrasting stitching, the high country embossed onto the actual seat back. And then you can see the rest of this cabin. It just looks really nice. You have stitching over here on the dashboard. You have real wood trim over here. This is also a second glove compartment where you can open that up. You can put some hidden storage. And then the infotainment display. I've shown you guys how this works before. It's one of the best in the business, although I do wish that you could expand this when you're using CarPlay. This secondary screen here kind of always stays there, and it kind of makes the CarPlay look a little bit small, but that's kind of a nitpick. Remember, 13.4 inches is actually bigger versus what you're going to find in the completely redesigned Ford Super Duty. Down here you can see I also appreciate the fact that you have traditional hard buttons for the exhaust brake, for the driver assistance features. You have dual zone climate control. You also have heated and ventilated seats. Your trailer brake controller is right here. And then you have a big console area here where you can put your phone. Wireless phone charging pad is over here. 2 cup holders, and then there's a nice padded armrest over here. And then when you open this up, you can see massive center console. You have 2 USB charging ports, and a USB-A and a USB-C, and then an actual power outlet over here. And this is a pretty deep storage cubby. And then above me, you can see here just a standard sunroof. Chevy and GMC still don't do a pano sunroof, which would be nice to find. But again, if you still want a sunroof, they will offer it, at least on this higher trim. But let's go ahead and hop into the back seat, because these back seats on these massive trucks, my gosh, they just have a ton of room. I mean, there's around 43.5 inches of legroom back here. 43.5 is essentially was the same kind of legroom you'd find in something like a Mercedes-Benz S-Class or a BMW 7 Series. And if you want to fold this seat up, you can see you can do that still. There's a little bit of storage underneath here if you want to hide stuff under the seat. I think Chevy also offers a lockable storage if you'd like as a dealer accessory. And then if you want, just put the seat down. But getting back here, you can see somebody my height. I mean, I can just get back here. I could almost like lay across, because this truck is so damn wide that you could easily fit 3 wide Americans across back here. So there's plenty of room. You have nice features like heated rear seats with 3 level heated seats, 2 USB charging ports. You have rear seat air vents. You have storage pockets. You have cup holders over here. The materials are pretty much the same as the front. You have the wood, the real leather and whatnot. And then you also have an armrest here that folds down, gives you 2 cup holders. And then Chevy also gives you this cool feature where on both sides of the seats, you have this little hidden storage cubby where you can hide whatever you'd like back here, which is kind of cool. And then you have a power opening and closing sliding window, which is nice. But some competitors like the Toyota, although Toyota doesn't do a heavy duty, have like a completely slide down rear window. But overall, you can see here, if you plan to use this as a family vehicle, the Silverado HD certainly will impress you. So obviously the new Silverado HD is a huge improvement over the pre-refresh models, and if you're looking to get your hands on this vehicle, Chevrolet says they will be entering Chevy showrooms by the spring or the first half of 2023. Remember, this is a 2024 model. The current generation starts at around $40,500, goes up to about 90 grand. I expect this model to be more expensive when it goes on sale, and just keep that in mind when you guys are choosing your trims. By the way, this is the high country version, but Chevy is also going to offer for the first time ever an off-road capable ZR2 version. They aren't ready to show us what it looks like just yet, but it is going to be the first time ever that we get a truly off-road capable model, so that's something to keep in mind if you guys are, of course, in the market for something like this. But for Redline Reviews here at the 2022 Los Angeles International Auto Show, I'm Sofyan Bey.